Well, we first met at church, um, and I think that it was the story was I said, "Hey, which study are you in? Which one is this?" And was pretty disappointed when she said that it was the other study that I wasn't doing. So that's where we first met. Our first date, I kind of planned it out. We went to uh, Mountain Park, and I made Korean food and set up this whole deal. And we went up there, and it was. I feel like the meat was a little overdone, but I think she loved it. And then we went for a walk, and um, we came down the mountain, got some Starbucks, and went for a nice walk over by the train tracks at Meadowbrook, and it was just a nice, pleasant evening. I knew I loved Bonnie pretty soon after we started talking. We would stay up really, really late, and we were supposed to be friends, but I still, I said something along the lines of, she said something about, I really have, strong feelings for you, and I said, there's an L word that would describe those feelings, and she kind of played it off, but I knew, I think then that I loved her. I can't. I honestly can't remember. It feels like I've said I love you to her since we first started dating. I don't know if it was our first date that I first said I love you, or if it was the night after I asked Ryan if I could date Bonnie that I said that. I think it might have been that same night. Um, so so my favorite food is Korean food. Just anything that my grandma makes. Uh, But Bonnie's favorite food. If you ask Bonnie what her favorite food is, you'll get five answers, and it'll be like shellfish or Korean food or pizza or some sort of noodles. So I think those are. I think I've hit the majority of the top favorite foods there. We both like um, we both like as far as secular music, we both like folk music a lot, folk and bluegrass, and we both like worship music. Our music tastes are very similar in that way, so which is good because folk bluegrass is kind of an off thing to like. So so my favorite movie. I've got a lot of them, but I'd say one of my favorites is "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," um, and I think Bonnie's Bonnie's got quite a few favorites too. But I would say that her favorite is either The Blind Side or she really liked that. I can only imagine movie too. So I think. I think my perfect date would be that we we'd go for a walk in a like a beautiful setting, like in the mountains with like just beautiful scenery in the background, and walk and talk, and then when we get done with the hike, go into like a lodge or something like that, to where we can get a nice meal, um, and just be able to talk and hang out for the night, and just relax, just have a nice relaxed evening. I think that that Bonnie's would probably be pretty similar to that, to where it's just we could do something out in nature, be outdoors, and something that's got some pretty scenery, and then something that it's not maybe necessarily a formal type of dinner, but more like something just a really comfortable atmosphere. The engagement story is kind of funny. I bought the ring like a ways back, like October a couple years ago, and or a year ago, or I don't know how long ago, but I I was kind of holding on to that. I was gonna plan on kind of went to my parents' house for Thanksgiving, and I was gonna do it there, and then I decided not to, and then so finally I ended up setting up this master plan, and I had um, some friends of ours, the Woots, set up there with a camera up at Mountain Park, and we went and we found this place up there to shoot some pictures. And so I told Bonnie, hey, that we're gonna go up to Mountain Park for a date, and she's like, okay. So she asked me, hey, do I need to wear hiking attire? Is it just just like some sweatpants and some things like that? And I said, well, maybe dress nicer. And she's kind of like, okay, I guess. And so I figured, okay, I gotta tell her something. So I went and told her, hey, so actually, I had a surprise for you that we're gonna go get some pictures taken with you and I. And she's like, oh, okay, all right. And I was like, so yeah, that's what I'm saying, like maybe dress up a little bit. We'll look nice and for the picture. So she dressed up, and we went up there, and the Woots had all this stuff set up. They had a lunch set up for us and everything. But we walked up there, and we're taking pictures, and we had worked out beforehand that there's a certain pose that I do before I proposed, and that would be kind of the cue. And so they set us up in all these different poses, and they finally got to the pose where it was supposed to be the engagement pose, and they got to it, and I remember my heart just beating like crazy. I just, man, just it was it was a little nerve wracking, but I was able to, and I remember looking at her and said, Bonnie, I love you so much, and she kind of looked at me. She's like, oh, I love you too, and I just kept looking at her in a stare, and I said, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and she didn't say anything after that, and you could see her face it went from just smiling and happy to kind of incredulous like that. And so I just got down on one knee. I pulled out the ring, and I said, "Will you marry me?" And she she goes, "Are you serious?" And she just couldn't believe it. And she said, "Yes, yes, yes." And she grabbed my face, and she just pulled me in. I didn't even have a chance to put the ring on her finger because she pulled me in, and she just started hugging me. And so we're hugging, and she's just kissing my face, and she's squeezing me, and I'm just, finally after about 10 minutes of that, I'm like, hey, you want to put the ring on? So we finally ended up getting the ring put on her finger. But then I remember the rest of the day. We had the rest of our photo shoot, and got some real candid pictures of that moment. My favorite, and Bonnie's got uh, a lot of great qualities, and a lot of things that I feel very fortunate to that God put me in her life at all. But I think one of the best qualities, and my favorite quality, is that she loves God with all her heart. And I know that out of all the hard times or anything that we've gone through, that she's always gone back to God, and she's always the first thing that she does in any situation is she goes to God in prayer. She meditates on it. She thinks about things from a perspective that God has, and that quality, I think, is definitely my favorite quality in her. So we're both similar, and we're very introverted. Neither one of us are going to be the life of the party. Neither one of us want to have a lot of attention on ourselves. Um, we both really enjoy just being at home. That's one of our favorite things to do, is just to be at home and be around each other and spend quality time with her and Jaden. That's so those are kind of some similarities that we have. But one of the one of some of the things that are different are uh, I I think I'm more impatient than she is. I kind of get upset when I don't get my way, and she tends to be the kind of the polar opposite of that, and she will kind of let things slide, and a lot of things that she lets slide, I get upset at, and so I think that we kind of balance each other out in that way, and I can't think it. Well, she's just a lot sweeter than I am. Let's just be honest. I can be kind of a grouch, so I think that's another thing. I'm excited I'm excited to see where God leads us. I'm excited to see uh, just what He has in store for us. And what I know um, is that no matter what, that both of us are going to run to God. And I think just by that, He's going to lead us into some pretty amazing things. We can already kind of see His hand working in our lives, and I feel like this marriage is just kind of out of obedience to Him and how He's led us, and so I'm just excited to see where He's going to lead us next.